All right, here's an issue. So with events, let me switch to the designer view here. I've got this button I'm trying to make, settings button. And you can come down here at the very bottom, they have event bindings. And so I just broke this one. I have the original HUD here with working buttons and UI stuff. And so this is using the user widget. But now I want to basically rebuild it and use the common activatable widget. I haven't begun to use that yet, but just somehow I broke the buttons, and so I'm just capturing this here because I'm running into this very unhelpful unknown error whenever trying to compile this. So the issue, what I've discovered, whenever you create an event binding down here, it'll create a function, and so you can't actually see it in this view. But when you go to graph, we're going to have these functions now, and so this is the one that I broke because it has inputs and outputs. So I messed with those, and the outputs, it has a very specific type I think you have to return. And so I have to record this now because once I fix it, then I'm not going to be able to show it later. So uh, yeah, I'm going to fix it real quick. So this one gives a more useful error, and it says that you have to have a return type. And so there's a special node called handled, which seems a little wacky, but so you really can't control this return type. So if you do change it, you get an unknown error. So anyways, on this settings guy here, what I'm going to do is fix it by adding this event reply structure. So I'll fix this event reply, and then I'll use this handled here. Oh dear, I missed it, and now it's got it going twice. There we go. So handle, I'm going to put my custom logger in here, and let's see. Oh, okay, now you're still griping because I have this guy. So I don't actually want this setting gear one. I just recreated it to, can't press, so I can press a delete button, but I can't right click delete, which is a little odd as well. All right, and then because I erased it, that's not good enough. I have to come down here, and then it has this none, so I'm going to remove the binding, so it goes back to default behavior, and it still doesn't work. Okay, so it's still saying like unknown error, and I had a curious notion of it being something about the original events. So if I go back and just recreate kind of a binding, create binding, and so here's like the defaults. And so it has this my geometry and mouse event. So I guess for now what I'll do is, oh, maybe I don't have to copy all this. This isn't really that much. Let's just stuff this in here and see if this works. I don't know what happened, like it got corrupted or something, like handled. The number of times I have issues just trying to do a console log statement is just going to delete it. Let's delete this old one. So this isn't what I want just yet, but I need to remove this binding. Okay. And yeah, so see if that works. And that worked. See, like, what the heck? So there's some weird stuff going on. I don't know what that is, but got past it. So now I'm just going to redo that again for it because I want it on this image, not the other one. The button, the gear is just for animation, which I can actually, let me show real quick. So this is a very simple animation of the angle. Um, and so like, where's that play button? Yeah, so this will play nice and steadily. So it animates on the angle, and I wanted a linear interpolation. So you can come in here, which brings up this nice curve editor. And so by default, it uses this absolute view mode, which is like pretty difficult if you're dealing with values over like 10 or something. Like, and this is uninterpretable. But what I'm used to dealing with is a normalized curves. And so it's just going to do between 0 and 1, and then whatever your maximum value is, that's what 1 represents, lowest value 0. So yeah, this is great. You can right click on the curve, and it has some standard ones in here. And of course you can mess with it. You can create your own interpolations by messing with the handles. And I guess you could modify those values, but at any rate, right now I just needed a linear curve for a perfect rotation. So yeah, that's that. I'm still working on this. I'm not done yet, but got stuck a little bit on the events and stuff. So I got past that obstacle.